Hello Booktube. Today's video is just going to be me laying out my reading plans for June 2024, as well as my plan for some live streams in June. Two of which will take place in June. One that may take place in June, but may not. But it's a live stream that's going to happen on the channel at some point in the next couple of months. But first, down to what I'm going to be reading. The first thing I'll be reading, and to be what I'll be reading for most of the month, is Dune by Frank Herbert, which I'm reading as a part of a read-along with Sean D. Standfast, Debs from Rainer Read Stuff, Randy Ray from the Literate Texan, and Steve Donahue. I'll leave links to mine, Sean's, and Steve's announcement videos down below in the description. I'll also leave a link to the reading schedule videos that I've done at the videos that me and Sean have done. So if you want to take part in that, you can either watch mine or Sean's, and you'll sort of see how things are going to be set out there. And I'll also leave links to Raina and Randy's channel down below as well. Now, the other three things I'm going to be reading in June will be me taking part in June on the Range, which is an event on Booktube organised by Michael K. Vaughan, whose channel I'll link his channel down below in the description. In June on the Range, as it suggests, it's an event where you read westerns. I've in the years since it's been going on, I have read one or two westerns in June, but I haven't done anything official on my YouTube channel for it. So this is the first time where I actually officially read something for June on the Range and give you a review on my channel. So there's actually, as I say, there's going to be three of them. The first will be sort of a standby for June on the Range, an author who I've heard a lot about, not just from June on the Range, but generally speaking, because I'm a fan of westerns, will be Louis L'Amour, and it's going to be his showdown at Yellow Butte, I think, or is it Yellow Butte? I'm not quite sure. If you do know, just leave a comment correcting me which way it is, if you do know. So I'm going to look forward to reading this. As I say, I've heard a lot of things about Louis L'Amour, and I'll be interested to see what it's like reading him. I have actually watched two adaptations of his books. One was the 1960s film with Sean Connery called Shalako, which I enjoyed, and also there was a late 70s, early 80s adaptation of The Shadow Riders with Tom Selleck and Sam Elliott, which was really enjoyable, so I'll be interested to see what this is like. Now, the next two books, if you're British and you're watching this, you won't necessarily recognise these individual books, but you'll recognise the type of them, because when you go into a public library in Britain, you will see somewhere either a bookshelf or an entire bookcase of these books, because they're always there. They're by Black Horse, by a publisher called Black Horse, and they are these two are Comanche Moon and the mission to Treaty Mesa. Now, as I say, if you're British, you'll immediately recognise these because these are always in the public library. For years, I've walked past these and I've never read one. And then about a year ago, I bought this one and I read it and I really enjoyed it. Part of the reason I bought it was because the author, Simon Webb, is a historian and he's also a YouTuber. I've got a link to his channel down below. And I watch his videos. I find them interesting. He mostly talks about history and sort of current affairs. He's not necessarily politically correct, but he's one of those people who, even if you don't agree with him, his views are interesting nonetheless. So I'm going to be interested to read this again because I remember reading it last year and really enjoying it. This one I've never read. So I'm going to be interested to find this. I actually bought this last year to take part in June on the Range, but then the health difficulties got away and I didn't get a chance to do it then. So I'll be interested to read it today. I should also say that Simon Webb has written a number of westerns under his own name, but also he's written far more under sort of a plethora of pseudonyms. So hope if there is time, and if there are any at my local library, which is literally 100 yards in that direction, literally 100 yards that way, I will try and find another Simon Webb western to see if it compares, because I remember really enjoying this, so it'll be an easy reread, and so I'll be interested if I get a chance to read any more of them. And I should say that whilst these four books are ones that I will read, they won't be the only ones. But as I say, but as with say the West, if I find another Simon Webb Western over there, that'll be because I have time in it, so that the mood has taken me. Now, when it comes to the live streams, I'm going to be the 2 live streams I will definitely be doing will be on James Bond. Will be on my James Bond reread. Because I've been having difficulty with my broadband, I've not been able to do the second live stream covering the second quarter of the James Bond books that I've reread. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do in these 2 James Bond live streams in June. Hopefully, I should have my my broadband up and running by the beginning of June. Is that I'm going to do the first live stream. I don't know when that's going to be, but it'll probably be sometime. Probably be at the end of a week. Will be on the rest of the James Bond books, where I'll go through them and just discuss them and what I generally think about the series as a whole. Then, and also on that, I will discuss probably in the second half of the live stream about James Bond and the British Empire, which is something I noticed some kept recurring in the books, the latter part of the series, particularly from Rush with Love onwards. Then in the second live stream, I'm going to do one comparing the books to the films and sort of how they do in terms of getting the spirit of Fleming on screen, and where I think sometimes the films improve on the books. I think that's particularly true in the case of the end of Goldfinger, and we're also on where I feel the films are sort of let down, and some of the films I don't like. I might have a guest for that one. I say might because I haven't contacted the gentleman yet, but I think he might be willing to come on. I won't say anything yet, but hopefully that should be somebody. That should be an interesting live stream to do. Now, the third live stream, which may take place in June, is going to be sort of adjacent to James Bond, because it's going to be where I discuss the sort of what's sort of called the Clubland heroes, or the imperial pulp fiction of Britain in the early 20th century, the sort of books that influenced Ian Fleming to write James Bond, that you either indirectly or directly. So, for example, the 2 particular ones, the one particular I should mention would be Bulldog Drummond by Sapper, which Ian Fleming himself said was an influence. So, in a remark he once made, that he described James Bond as Mickey Spillane from the waist up and Bulldog Drummond from the waist up and Mickey Spillane from the waist down. And so that's going to be one of the characters discussed. Also, Richard Hannay, the sort of the probably most well-known character of John Buchan, Gregory Salas, who was Dennis Wheatley's creation. Also, Sack Romer's Fu Manchu novels, particularly because that is you can tell that when you read Dr. No, a real influence on that. And also, to a lesser extent, Dornford Yates and maybe Edgar Wallace. So that's a sort of what's known as sort of Clubland heroes, imperial pulp fiction of the era. And so I think I'm going to do a live stream on that. And I'm also have somebody who's interested in discussing that with me. But whether we do that in June or maybe July is not yet certain. So with those live streams, the closer we get to them, I'll announce when they're going to be. But with that, Booktube, I will say goodbye, and I will see you soon.